Well, hello everybody. I fell asleep. Um, I was supposed to come on for this live cast at 10 p.m., but I conked out like the old man that I am, and I had I just got home. I was tired and hadn't slept as well as I needed to have last night, and so I just shoveled some food in my mouth, and the next thing I know, I'm out, and then next thing I know, I wake up and it's like 10:45, and then next thing I know, I'm thinking to myself, well, whoops, didn't you schedule a live cast tonight for 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time? Not very responsible of you. And you're usually pretty good about showing up when you say you're going to show up. So this is just gonna make people think you're a flake. So so better late than never. Um, I don't know. I don't know if anybody's gonna hop on board at this late time. I see. I guess a few people have. Um, but I apologize for not being there when I said I was going to. Not broadcasting this when I said I was going to. Uh, and I thought to myself, well, I'll just broadcast something now. I'll just do a little live cast now. It's been it's been about a month, a little over a month since my last live cast, and uh, I wanted to, and as per usual, what I'm going to do is for anyone who does show up and who does have anything to say, uh, I'm going to come back to the comments in a few minutes after I finish my spiel, such as it is. And what is my spiel exactly? What am I wanting to cover here in this live cast? I think I wanted to, you know, I started this year, this calendar year off with great trepidation, and most of my trepidation was about the damn election, and I still have that trepidation about the damn election. I'm not looking forward to it. My sense of things, though, right now, reading the tea leaves, is that culturally speaking, things aren't as awful as they could be right now, and maybe they'll escalate enormously over the next few months. They probably will. Um, but I would say that when I've been paying attention to stuff they're saying, culturally, what's making the rounds right now. There are a lot of good things that are happening, um, and insofar as there are, uh, it seems to be in the news lately that people are getting exposed. Uh, the the Nickelodeon special, I didn't think it was that great. I watched it. A lot of it was kind of annoying stuff about oh, he's just a white male discriminating. Oh, Dan Schneider's bad because he's racist or whatever. Sort of a PC take on the whole thing. But when they finally got down to the substance of the matter, which is young actors being exploited, sexually exploited, uh, it became good. Um, it became worth watching. And I talked a little bit about Drake Bell. I talked a little bit about. I don't think I've mentioned Cat Williams yet, but it seems like he and his voice and a few other there are a few other people who seem to be very optimistic in the way that they're talking about the present year. The like everything's going A phrase you're hearing right now is it's all going to come out. Everything's coming out in 2024. No more secrets. Um, the stuff with Diddy. uh, the exposure of Diddy as an apparent pervert, you know, entertainment industry mogul, who looks like, you know, did some very questionable things to a lot of people, to a lot of including young boys like Usher and even Justin Bieber. You know, I remember like from the '90s. You know, when he was Puff Daddy. Of course, I've never been a hip hop fan, but you couldn't really escape it. It was just part of what was out there, and you know, so he's been around forever, and it's kind of amazing. You look back on you like I was watching an old uh, Jackass movie, and one of the openings for one of those movies is uh, they have random people saying, "Hi, I'm Johnny Knoxville. Welcome to Jackass." And one of those started with Diddy or Puff Daddy, which what was then uh, saying that. You know, he's been in some movies. It's like he's been in a ton of stuff. He's very visible person through the years, and to think that all this time he's been, you know, up to some very shady things, and yet, you know, he's been hanging around with, you know, a lot of a lot of really wealthy and influential people, including Prince Harry, you know, and uh, and a bunch of others. You know, just to think that all this time, like, this is another open secret. This is another thing where you've got rich, famous people just hanging out together in very seedy circumstances, and it's sort of an open secret what's really going on. And but the public just thinks, oh, Puff Daddy's like this cool uh, mogul, this cool rapper, and you know. Uh, 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 Entrepreneur, um, you know, is I mean, I guess in a way it's not really that surprising, but it is what I again what I find a little I still find to be somewhat shocking about it all is just that this uh, you know, these things are going on very conspicuously, and it just seems like it seems like it's a never ending thing. It keeps on happening. You know, it's like the veil is being lifted uh, on the entertainment industry, on, you know, people in the power elite in in one form or another, whether it's entertainment or politics or what have you. Um, and it's just nothing but absolute filth and vileness, and you know, just you know, uh, exploitation of minors. You know, is like it's a feature. It's not a bug. It's a feature. Um, and so, I mean, at the same time, like all this is getting out there, and I've been hearing some people saying, well, this is you know, nothing's gonna uh, this is the year it all gets exposed. But that sounds a lot like the sort of well, this is the year it all goes down, or everything's going down. There's nothing you can do to stop it, kind of that kind of thing. It's sort of like, you know, let it. And I recorded a video on that subject too. You know, let me see it actually go down. Let me see. I need to see things collapse in real time, uh, I need to have the report that things have collapsed. I need to see the active dismantling of these 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 very bad people who control a great deal, who have a great deal of power and influence. I need to see uh, things happen to them, right? I need to not. I don't want to. I don't just want to hear, oh wow, they raided they raided Diddy's house. Uh, well, who are they? That it's Homeland Security, right? So do we trust the feds? Do we? No, we don't. We shouldn't. Uh, so what's really going on here? You know, is this something that they're I don't know. Is this just something that they're um, I've heard it said by different sources. You know, all you know, all of a sudden Candace Owens is you know Miss Red Pill. Uh, you know, saying she's saying things like, "Oh well, the feds don't care. The feds just want to cover it up because they're involved in it." It's like, wow, you know, I like it. It's probably true, uh, but it's just kind of like, how did you transform into this? From this. Um, how did conservatism trans transform from uh, you know, the sort of believe authority, believe the system, you know, uh, don't believe these freaks who are out there telling you not to trust the police and not to trust the 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 military and not to trust this, that, and the other thing. And now, you know, to it be to people who are conservative, who call themselves conservative, and I don't really care what the label is, but coming around to saying something like that is that, when you're an extreme influencer, when you are somebody who is a powerful influencer, and you're saying things like that, like the feds aren't there to seek out the truth about what Diddy's really up to, or to find evidence of his crimes. They're there to cover things up, just like they were doing on Epstein Island. I mean, that's true. I think that is very true. I guess what I despair of, though, what I'm tempted to despair of, is just the idea uh, that that this is all heading to a point. This is all we're seeing some momentum where it's all coming out, and you know I think what we're seeing is more of a cover up. We're seeing them give some ground just so that they can, uh, we're seeing them admit some things about what's been going on. Um, but maybe that's just so they can kick the really sleazy shit they're doing, out of sight. And so I think, like, I get, I'm tired of being played, you know, and I'm tired of being told it. Like I said, I'm tired of being told it's about to go down. Like, let me see the thing really go down. Let me see it actually. Let me see the house of cards collapse. Really collapse. Let's see it happen in front of our eyes. And even then, even if it happened, like, part of me says, how do you know to trust that either? How do you know to trust? Because who's telling you these things? And how do we know that they're trustworthy? You know? Um, so anyhow, just to summarize, this has been kind of rambling because, again, I I fell asleep and then woke up and realized I had an obligation to do a live cast, which I was late. Uh, uh, I've been do late to doing, or I went past the time when I said I was going to do it. I said I was going to go on at 10 p.m. Eastern. Didn't start going on till, what was it, quarter till 12, and now it's around midnight, I believe. So, so yeah. So the whole thing about it, it's all going down. It's all going down. We're gonna find the 2024 is the year. Nothing. Uh, uh, we everybody's getting exposed, and so yes, we've had some exposure of the of what the sleazy things that are going on in kids television. We've had some exposure of Diddy and his uh, compatriots, his confederates in the music industry world. Um, uh, and it seems like that's all. It's sort of a neo. It's like the Epstein Island story all over again, in some ways, um, where it's an open secret. I mean, it's just another extension of what we've been hearing about in drims and drabs for quite a while now. Um, it is Pizzagate, Pedogate, what have you. It's the story of youth being sexually exploited by the powerful, uh, and it's like it's just going down. It's like we're hearing certain things here and there, and I do think there's a lot of distrust of these people now, which there didn't used to be. So that's a good sign. Trust me, growing up, like remembering the '90s, and thinking of how people viewed rappers and actors and Hollywood people and stuff like that. Would they have thought there was a cabal of freaks, molesting children, like high level people doing these kinds of things? That had been barely whispered about at the time. The Franklin scandal uh, was was talked about in like the Franklin scandal, which happened in the '80s. That was talked about in the late '80s and the early '90s, and then it just got tamped down on really good. And they made sure, or tried to make sure that got out, that none of that got out to people. What these pervert politicians were doing to kids. As in centered around Omaha, Nebraska, but also in New York City, also in I should say Washington D.C., and also uh, somewhat with the seeming complicity of some people in Hollywood. Uh, it's just like these. What am I saying? At that time, uh, it was hard like that news wouldn't. It was really hard to get that news out at all because the mainstream wouldn't touch it, and the mainstream media was pretty much all that we had at that time. This is before the internet, and people who say the internet is bad, or who look at all the bad things that have come from the internet, from people being on the internet. Well, in a lot of ways, I think the internet has served some very useful, helpful purpose in helping us to be able to unearth a lot of this stuff, and to hear from sources that are not just you know, not just taking millions of dollars from from pharmaceutical companies or from the military industrial complex, companies affiliated with the military industrial complex, and truly independent media types getting out there, actually revealing what's happening. But but it, I'm past due time. I feel like it's past due time for a reckoning. And so, all the people who are the sort of more, I was, I was, I was, I felt inspired in some ways, or I felt heartened by some of the people who were saying things about how in 2024 it looks like everything's coming out. This like the sort of this sort of exuberant kind of uh, mentality. This sort of like, oh, it's, but it sounds a lot. It sounds familiar. It sounds like the QAnon thing. Nothing can stop. Uh, Nothing can stop what's coming. Okay, well, when's it going to happen though? You know, but like I don't know how many of you saw Cat Williams, the this black comedian who's also been around for a while, and him talking about all these things that are like revealing all this stuff, which including Diddy's depredations, and him saying it's all coming out. It's about and you know him seeming to be optimistic about these lies being uh, exposed. Like, where does he get that from? Where do you get that optimism from? You know, if you're somebody like Cat Williams, you're in the entertainment business. You must have some notion, and but you're claiming to be a truth teller. You must have some notion of something happening, something unfolding. So when I heard him say that, I was like, okay, I'm ready to see it happen. Let's let it happen. Um, but if this is just going to be it is just going to be just these few little, like I said, drims and drabs of, oh, Dan Schneider was bad, and yeah, Brian Peck, they let him rape kids, and then he got a slap on the wrist, and came back to be on more kids shows after that. I mean, and then Diddy, raped Justin Bieber, and raped Usher, and allegedly, I should say, and all this kind of stuff. Like, okay, I think this goes beyond, though. I mean, it's good to hear these things, but I think it goes beyond just this stuff. And is it ever going to, you know, who's going to kick over these castles of sand? Is what I'm wondering. How is that finally? How are we finally going to see that take place? That's what I want. And that's what I want to see happen. Um, Let me see what some of your comments are. I don't know how. I don't know if I've been the most articulate. Uh, I know that I haven't been. I'm actually a little embarrassed about all this. Evelyn Sunglasses says hi from England. Hello. Devout Agnostic. I finally got a live cast. Hey, welcome. Dinah Foot Creeps. Yeah. Yeah, there is like a lot about feet, isn't there? There are a lot of creeps out there who are into to like kids' feet, uh, or young girls' feet specifically. Um, I don't get it. I don't get the foot fetish. I don't get it. But I mean, maybe that's just because I'm not a pervert. Willie K, what do all these people do together? It definitely begs some questions. Literally never paid attention to P. Diddy. Where did he come from? I don't know. I don't know his story. I do know there was a. I mean, he dated Jennifer Lopez for a time. Um, and I think that uh, yeah. Well, I mean, he's been a very conspicuous character. He's been in a lot of stuff. He's been in movies. Um, you know, where he plays himself or where he plays, uh, like I think he pretty much just plays himself in these movies. I remember uh, anyway, I can't remember the names of the movies right now, but I remember he's been in a couple. So again, heavily featured. It's sort of like one of these people who's been around forever, extremely conspicuous. And so, if he's been up to sleazy shit since what, the 90s or the early aughts, or if just forever, nothing has happened to him. I mean, that's suggestive that that's suggestive that the whole system is rotten, and people don't go after him because, well, it's a normal thing. He's got, just like with Epstein, he had blackmail material on everybody else, and they were all perverts together, so they protected each other, because if one of them fell, then there was the danger of them all going down, of them all exposing the rest of them. So they had to circle the wagons at some point. Um, Pill eater, hello. Don't know. Devout agnostic. Don't know if you're still following Dr. Deep State. That's his take on the Great Awakening, that it is the antithesis to the Great Reset in the current controlled dialectic. Dr. Deep State. I've is I'll look him up, but I remember keeping track of somebody who called himself Dr. Deep State, but I'm wondering if it's the same person that you're talking about here. Maybe it is. Parker Peters, Evening Gentleman. Uh, tracked with my own cosmological explorations into Corona since Corona. Um, yeah, I don't know what you mean by cosmological explorations, but it's yeah. So what I'm not sure whether that's I'm not sure what you mean by that. Um, but I'd be interested to know. Uh, the Big Black Song, Jordan, Minnesota? No, I sure don't. Don't know what that's a reference to. Devout agnostic, foot fetish and leg preference over TNA is dominating mother, supposedly, towering over a toddler. Hmm. Well, I don't understand the foot fetish thing. I get being into legs, but I mean of not of preteen girls though. But I mean I'm a leg man myself, so I get that. Oh man, like that, like anyone wanted to hear that coming out of my mouth. Um. So yeah. So anyway, uh, looks like my tardiness. Either my tardiness, that's responsible for me being not as many people on the live cast as I was hoping, or maybe nobody was gonna maybe a few people are going to show up anyway. But I appreciate everybody who is here. Um, Anything else we want to say before calling it a night? I am a leg man. Oh God, I should never have said that. That's going. That's going to be held against me now. Uh, man. I mean, I don't. I think it's not. It's not really that in my defense, I don't think it's that unusual. I don't think it's that unusual. I mean, to be into legs. I don't know. So anyway, uh, this has been kind of a flop. This has been kind of a bust, but I do appreciate everyone who came on. And I apologize for my tardiness, and I'll have to do another live cast sometime in the future where I make up for this for how I just pissed the bed on this one. Um, so uh, thanks a lot for coming, and hope it was a little bit, at least slightly enjoyable for y'all. Uh, okay, yeah, same Doctor Deep State. Okay, yeah. I haven't been following him lately. I will. That's the first thing I'll do after I get off this live cast is I'll look up Doctor Deep State and see what he's saying, see what he's up to. It's been a little while since I've checked in with him. All right, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Talk to y'all later.